block from Rajouri district.
And we now cut across to more breaking news coming in. We are learning of how the Navy and after the Navy Coast Guard that has now increased patrolling in the northwestern region. Now, according to sources, patrolling that has been heightened along the international maritime boundary line. Layered surface surveillance that has been initiated by the Coast Guard that has increased patrolling along the international border. Those are the pictures on your screens of the Coast Guard and the Indian Navy performing a joint drill. And after the Navy, it is the Coast Guard that has now heightened patrolling in the northwestern region. Sources tell us that patrolling has increased along the international maritime boundary line. Let me cut across to Shavan, who has further details on the same. He joins us from the newsroom. Shavan.
Well, after the Navy, now you have the Indian Coast Guard joining the Indian Navy to carry out multiple drills. Now, apart from the drill that is being carried out, the latest that we are picking up from our sources within the Indian Coast Guard is the fact that there has been an increased surveillance in the northwestern region, particularly along the international maritime boundary. Now, what's important to point out here are two things as far as the layered surveillance that has basically been initiated, because they're basically looking at whether at all there is any sort of crossover by the Pakistani fishermen, because that happens quite frequently, number one. Number two, the offshore patrolling vessels that are now being utilized by the Indian Coast Guard to increase the surveillance. However, we are not in a position right now to disclose what the layered surveillance essentially does indicate. But having said that, what we can confirm is that along with the joint drill that is now being carried out, which again, remember, it's not very far away from the military exercise that is being carried out by the Pakistani Navy, the Indian Navy is carrying out this entire exercise over the next few days. Along with it, they're being augmented by the Indian Coast Guard, who have also now joined this entire exercise.
All right, Sean, many thanks for getting us those details. Moving on, 10 days after the brutal Pahalgam